40.39. So he may have been in the top 12 for about 2 minutes, the way things are looking. With Andy Coley posting that time.
Simon Andrews 40.31. That just creeps in 11th place at the moment. And we've got Richard Summers on the hill now with the DJ Firehall V6.
Another registered competitor. And the first of our Porsches is on the hill now. That's David Hilton, a shared cart. No, we haven't had any sign of any of the Tomlin clan. Are we scratched or are we running? Scratched by the looks of it, yeah.
So we've got that time of 40.27 for Richard Summers, which means that he just makes the cut and out.
So the drivers missing that we've not seen this afternoon, and we're way past their classes, are Kelvin Broad and Simon Moyes. We think Simon was having trouble earlier, but we didn't see any sign of that from Kelvin Broad, but we don't have them. They're potential qualifiers.
So we've had several times now from the Porsche Club GP National Hill Climb Championship, which is now led by David Hilton, 47.38. And Simon Tarling, 49.91 to go second at the moment in the class. Ross McDonald, 51 seconds exactly. And currently in 5th place is Richard York, 55.75. So now Robert Lancaster Gay has just crossed the line, 49.08. So here's the man who leads the National Hill Climb Championship, David Dyson, in the blue Porsche GT3, followed by Christian Ayres, who is one of the quickest road-going cars, certainly was yesterday. Dyson's time, 47.49. And Christian Ayres trying to maintain that position as fastest road-going car this weekend in the Hill Climb Championship. Stops the clocks on 47.84, so not as quick as championship leader Dyson. And so that means David Hilton still leads the class from David Dyson, but Christian Ayres now in 3rd place as we move on to the modified section of the class. Duncan Andrews with the Porsche Cayman. Their task a little bit easier as Paul Howells has moved to the over 2 litre road going modified class to score points in the Midland Championship. So he won't be scoring points in the Hill Climb Championship today, but Duncan Andrews 46.89. That is the new class leader. Now Phil Price is next to cross the line. He's just rounding semicircle now in the turbocharged 930 RS, and 48.65 for Phil Price. That puts him up to 5th in class, but it's Duncan Andrews who still leads. Peter Turnbull now, a lot of class wins under his belt as well with this 911 GT3 Cup. Time he's got to beat though is Duncan Andrews, 46.89 currently. 2 cars left to run in the Hill Climb Championship section. We're going to see Tim Barber a little bit later on because he's sharing the car with David Hilton, the GT3, double driving it, so we'll be seeing him a little later. But Peter Turnbull's time, 46.89, which is exactly the same time as class leader Duncan Andrews. So there is a tie for the lead in the Porsche Club GB National Hill Climb Championship class. Both Duncan Andrews and Peter Turnbull on 46.89 to lead the way from David Hilton on 47.38. And we'll be seeing Hilton's co-driver Tim Barber very shortly. So now we move on to the Porsche Club Speed Championship, different championship to the Hill Climb one. This involves sprints as well as hill climb. And before we see that, we're going to see Laura Wardle, who's actually running in the Porsche Club Invitation class. Just 2 runners, 1 car, so that's why Laura Wardle's running a bit early with the 911 Carrera, which she shared with Jonathan Williamson for the past 35 years. She stops the clocks on 50.53 in the Invitation class. So now it's back to the Speed Championship class, and Ian Wadsworth in the 911, running in class P3, which is up to 280 brake horsepower. These 4 divisions in this championship, depending on brake horsepower output. And this is the 2nd most powerful of the 4 in class P3, and Ian Wadsworth is there in 50.26. Meanwhile, we've had Tim Barber complete the Hill Climb Championship class with a 48.51. So not in the top 3 with that time. So is that time good enough to lead the class from Martin Leach now, who's just stopped the clocks on 50.66. And next up it's going to be Stephen Joy. We've got 3 cars on here at once now. Unusual for Prescott, but Stephen Joy's just finished his run, 50.06. And that goes into the class lead ahead of Ian Wadsworth.
Big backfire from the exhausted Geraint Evans' car. Number 146, who's just coming up into Pardon now.
Wayne Easton though in front of him in just rounding semicircle with the Porsche Boxster, and he's there in 53.04, 4th place in class at the moment. So here's Graham Rose now with the 924S. Had a few problems of late. I think he had an off at Lowton, Eddie, and he did investigate the outfield at semicircle yesterday.
Yes, yeah, he's developed a little bit of a reputation amongst his classmates of late, so he needs to behave himself. Otherwise it'll be a detention in the corner. I shall not go off at Lowton Park, and so on, to be written on the blackboard.
Well, just meanwhile, Wayne Easton set at 53.04, Geraint Evans 52.68 to go 4. And Graham Rose is over the line, 52.01. That's good enough for 4th place.
Justin Mather coming into Ettores in the S.
And Howard Cressy precedes him in the Porsche Cayman. 56.10 for Cressy. Justin Mather almost at the finish line, followed by Michael Brown with the Porsche 944. Passing the halfway point now. Justin Mather's time, 48.94, clear class lead. I think this is going to be between Justin Mather and Andy Fagan.
Well, we've got a time coming up for Andy Fagan, but not showing a start line time, so don't know if something's gone wrong here.
Ah, we've got an elapsed time though.
Yeah, he's disappeared, so I think he probably broke the beams and yeah.
He may come back later on. 52.61 meanwhile for Michael Brown.
Yes, Andy Fagan's a habitual and serial class winner, of course.
And leads the Porsche Club Sprint Championship overall, in fact.
Won his class at Lowton Park 2 weeks ago.
And he's away from the line now.
Yeah, he must have...
Good launch, 2.34, quicker than anybody else in the class at the moment. And not as quick through the speed trap as Justin Mather on 69, but it's Mather who leads. So the time that Fagan's chasing is Justin Mather's 48.94.
So Fagan's up through the left-hander at Pardon Hill, and he's past the halfway. He's heading into the S's now, up to that on left-hander. Now we can see Carl Lupton, number 153, down at the bottom, coming out of Vittoria's right now. Safe line, keeping away from the kitty litter, keeping away from the trap of soft aggregate. And a little bit late on the gas. I think he was in the wrong gear at Pardon. Sounded like it.
Peter Taylor is next on the hill in the box to S. But Andy Fagan's over the line, and it's 48.87, so he snatches the lead in the class from Justin Mather. And now it's David Dyson on the hill. He's actually running in 2 championships, both the hill climb and the speed championship. And certainly coming to Prescott yesterday, he led the hill climb championship. Carl Lupton, meanwhile, 51.22. And Peter Taylor, 51.50.
Nick Wadsworth next along, has left the start. Most of the bridge time through the bridge, so here he is out of Orchard and running into that tight right-hander here at Vittoria's. Keeps out of the kitty litter. Always the best thing to do, heads up towards Pardon. On the brakes, very, very tight line around the inside on that concrete strip. Accelerates hard away past Jackie's Gateway and through the halfway and into the S's.
But meanwhile, David Dyson has stolen the march on the rest of the class with a 47.06 is the new class lead for David Dyson. Pushes Andy Fagan down to second and Justin Mather to third. Nick Wadsworth, the final runner in the class. He's not going to beat that time. It's 50.43.
Jonathan Williamson on the hill, the Irish-born Cornish Wiltshire, Somerset resident. There's a mixture for you. Moved up to the Taunton area a few years ago. 35 years, as Jerry has said, with Laura Wardle in this car.
And Jonathan Williamson, 48.98, which means he takes the win from his co-driver.